Hello everyone, Sam from Tool Hut here. Today's victim, 2008 Saturn Vue Multiple codes, multiple drivability complaints, vehicle towed to me. Stay tuned. Okay, so what we have here is we have a 2008 Saturn Vue. It's been to several shops. It was actually referred to me by a shop. The shop that did work on it is also a customer of mine. So the customer calls, and her major complaint was there's several lights on the dash. Her remotes don't work. It shifts hard, etc., etc. They've had multiple problems with this car. Had it about 4 years, and I don't think she's looking for a miracle. I think she's looking just to get it fixed. So I don't do a lot of stuff at the house for customers, but I decided to take on this job. So just want to walk you through a little bit of the initial process. This is going to be part one. I'm doing a couple of different things to the car. So first thing I do is I grab my Autel. I'm just going to do a quick scan of the car. Like I say, it's not a vehicle I have history with. It is a new customer. So during the initial scan, I noticed some things that kind of stick out to me. The first one is that it is an all-wheel drive Saturn Vue, and the all-wheel drive module or rear differential module or whatever they want to call it on this car is not communicating. Not on my list. I do attempt to go into the data list and communicate with it independently, and there's no communication. So most of the codes that I have in the vehicle are communication type codes. So I kind of decide, just based on experience, that I want to go after this module that's not communicating. A lot of times you can fix other stuff without really focusing on what's going on. So this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to go after this rear differential module. Well, wouldn't you know it, I picked the module that I want to go after that's on top of the rear differential on a fairly small car. My hands don't fit in here real good. So I finally get it unplugged. I didn't want to bore you with that process because it was crazy. Anyway, I got it unplugged, got my wiring schematic looked at, and I have determined that I have power and ground. Now the next thing we all know that a module needs to communicate is the ability to communicate. So before we can condemn this module, I want to scope the CAN lines at the module here. And here is a picture of the CAN lines that I get. Now I am going to tell you, this was when I first plugged it in, and I was convinced I had a connection problem. So I screwed around with some stuff, did some things. I went behind the connector just to verify that it didn't have a connector problem. And here's a picture of me piercing the wire, the communication line, just again to verify it wasn't right there at the connector. I start looking around the car, and I see this mess, and it looks like somebody's been here. So the first thing I do is I grab this wad of wires that looks like it's taped up in a mess, and I just move it. Now, I haven't pulled on it, nothing else. I'm just pushing it up and down. And instantly, my CAN lines change. So I know without a doubt that my problem is inside this mess. So I don't know that it doesn't need a module at this point, but I know that I have to straighten out the communication lines before I can condemn this module. So I untape the mess. This is what I find. It's a bunch of heat shrink, the crimp connectors with the heat shrink on them, and the tan wire with the black stripe is the one that I'm going after. And what I determine is that it is crimped and it is shrunk down, but it is not a sufficiently tight connection. I can twist the wire inside this connector. Now once I have twisted the wire, I cannot duplicate the problem with the communication line. So I know for a fact that I have cleaned up the corrosion inside this connector. I am going to properly connect it. So the next process I do is I plug the module back in. I know. That's what I was thinking too. What a pain in the butt. Anyway, I get the module plugged back in, and then I pierce the wires at the taped up connection back here because I'm planning on doing some repairs back here anyway. So what I determine is that now I have good solid communication lines. I still cannot communicate with this module. I have condemned the module because I have power and ground. It now has the ability to communicate. Why it went bad, I don't know. Maybe it's the Michigan roads underneath the car. I don't know who'd put a module underneath a car like that, but anyway, I got the new module is ordered, or replacement module I should say is ordered, and we're going to install it, put it on and program it. That'll be part of the next video, and then we'll go on to figuring out where we're going from there. Just want you to see that I'm not going after multiple parts of this vehicle at once. I'm going to be very selective about what we fix. This person could spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on this car and still end up with a 2008 Saturn Vue. So we're going to do our best to be diligent here. So stay tuned for part 2. Thumbs up if you like the video, thumbs down if you don't. Subscribe to the channel, unsubscribe. I really don't care. Have a great day. So I did a scan after I had the module, the connection cleaned up a little bit. I still have not properly repaired it, but I just wanted to show you the difference between the before scan and the after scan. You'll see that I still have a couple of communication codes, but for the most part the communication codes are gone. I do not have communication with the ABS module at this point. I think it's interesting because when I unplug the module I do have communication with the ABS module, so kind of hoping that once we get the new module in, it's going to correct that problem. So again, stay tuned.